on, emotional. Do you imagine how scary that would be to be abducted like that? I mean, Calvin Parker had his thing, but this thing was so much more in depth than any report I've ever heard from anybody else that, claimed that they were abducted. I mean, everything from seeing the triangle lights coming for hours, right? And then they go overhead and you're tired, you go to bed, and next thing you hear, oh, come on. Scary as you know what.
Well, think of it like this. First of all, they didn't even realize they was abducted because as he said in his own words, they were in a tent. He looked at his buddy, and his buddy was a military. I don't know if he was in Vietnam or not, but he was in the military. He's a hardened guy.
No, he was. They were both medics.
Okay, both medics. Okay. And anyway, he's over there cowering and kind of crying. And he was like, what's going on? He looks out the tent. And he sees these, what he thought was children in the middle of nowhere at their campground. And he says to his buddy, why are them kids here? What the heck's going on? And his buddy says, no, Terry, those are not kids. And then the wave of terror and fear, because at that moment, in time, he realized what had happened, what was going on, and what's going on, and that moment right there it sends chills up my spine right now.
Then when they're looking, they comprehend there's a UFO right out there, and it's putting out this weird noise and colors, and you see like these little children, which turned out to be these space critters. The terror they had. And, and I don't want to get more into it than that, other than when they were taken aboard the craft. I tell you, a lot of people probably go insane for the rest of their life having to deal with that.
Yeah, that's a lot to deal with. I mean, emotionally, spiritually, even physically, all of it. And, a lot of them say, the physical part, that'll heal, but that mental part, that stays with you forever.
Oh, yeah. That's the scary part. So we got Terry Lovelace coming on. I mean, we got some great guests. Toby Johnson coming on. It's just a bunch of people, and we're going to be talking about a lot more subjects. Yes, we're going to be talking about UFOs at least once or twice a week, but we're going to be talking about, ghost hunting. We're going to be talking about ghosts, like I said, time travel, all this stuff. So it's because you keep asking me for this type of a show, and I'm trying to deliver the best out there we can with the best guest. Simple as that.
Yeah, and I know some of the ghost people within the spirits and ghost hunting that are internationally known. I mean, I'm friends with some of them. They're going to be coming on, and that'll cover the good aspect of that end of it. And then we've got the UFOs, we've got crypt, got it all covered, basically.
Oh, yeah. So, wow. So you had a good day today? Did you accomplish much?
I did a lot of getting news sources. I'm always on that, trying to find new news sources stuff. But I'll tell you something. I found a lot today. A lot of UFO sightings within the last couple of weeks. It really spiked. I've noticed that.
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning. It's gone up, and it isn't going away. That is the scary part. In fact, I had somebody who wants to come on a guest. I got to interview him tomorrow, over the phone, and find out how credible. But again, they claim they were abducted, and they got a scary story to tell. And again, it's not where these aliens are here to serve man, unless you want to be on a platter with maybe some vegetables and some barbecue sauce. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of scary. Well, that's the thing. There's so many different. I don't know what do you want to. Different types of humanoid ones out there, and they all have their own agendas. And there's all good ones, bad ones, and worse ones. So that is the wild card of it all, and trying to discern what's what. But anytime, I don't care how you church it up, if they're taking you against your will and doing things to you and trying to screw up your brain, that has negative overtones on it, man. It just does.
Well, you know what? As a civilization, are we any better?
No, we're not. But here's the thing: I don't see us doing that to other.
We have
people.
Think about it.
Oh, we have.
As a human race, what have we done to other humans throughout the centuries? Okay, we're not better. I mean, just because we're humans, we do it to our brothers and sisters. Yeah, so, I mean, to them, again, who knows what they think of you and me and everybody else walking around. We might be nothing to them. So they don't care what they do. And guess what? Exactly 15-minute mark, guess what? His phone dropped out. We need to get him on a business plan with Skype because this is every day. I mean, we did actually make it one night here last week where he did it the whole 4 hours without a disconnect. Okay, well, guess what?
Like clockwork.
Yeah. Well, you did. It was like I just said to the listeners, you one day last week made it the whole time, and I was in total dismay that you went the whole show without it dropping off.
And the weird part was, I went 2 weeks before that. I was going the whole time, no problem. Then all of a sudden, I don't know, maybe it's something they did some kind of update I don't know about, or they got some new bylaws now. You're only allowed 4 hours. I don't know.
Well, I don't have that problem. Maybe it's somebody at Skype doesn't like you.
Yeah, well, probably tired of me using up the 4 hours worth of airtime. I don't know. It's just weird. But Skype is weird anyway. I mean, look at the other night. The one line wasn't working, and then it did work, and then the other one wouldn't, and then the computers were acting crazy. It was weird.
But yeah, that don't make logical sense. You know, my wife is a computer technician for one of the biggest computer company out there, and has 30 years experience in it, pardon me. And I tell you what, it was really strange. First one Skype goes, okay, then one of my broadcasts, it goes out to speaker. That bit the dust, right? Then one going out to the radio stations, which each one of these are on a separate computer. It decides, okay, well, guess what? Good night, and it hung up. And then the other Skype, I had to, reboot it. So I lost 4 programs on 4 different computers, one right after another. Now, I didn't have no power surge, nothing. I have a huge battery backup. I can run 4 computers for at least 20 minutes. That's the computers and monitors. Okay? So that would have given me more than any time. Plus, it lets me know if there's a power outage. Something was weird that night. That's all I can say is, why would I lose a Skype and then lose speaker and then lose my other software for the radio stations? And then, it's just weird. And then the other Skype said goodnight. So it was like playing musical chairs. We lost 10 minutes of the show because of that.
Right, and there's no such thing as coincidences, and there was no logical explanations for that, and you've been into electronics and radio and this kind of stuff for 40-plus years, so you would have the answer, and you can't find one, so yeah, it was some weird stuff.
Oh, I have a theory behind it. They didn't want the subject talked about, so they kind of told me ahead of time, right at the beginning of the show, we don't like what you're doing.
I've thought about that many times, and along that same lines, we've had certain guests on, and man, I'm telling you, they say certain buzzwords, and it doesn't matter if landline, cell phone, or if they're next door, it gets cut off, interference, you can't hear them.
Yeah, and then when you do get a hold of them, right, it'll work for a minute on their other line, and then it starts in. Now, I can see if it's a landline problem, right? But the problem is the guy doesn't have the problem when he's talking to his friends and he's calling up whatever. His phone doesn't have any problems on the landline. But when we get on the show and we start talking about implants and certain key words, boom, it was nothing but static. But that's on a landline. That's where the cable comes into their house. Now they pick up their cell phone, which they say they never have any problems with their cell phone. And within a minute of talking to him, it starts duplicating what the landline did.
Yeah. And, the thing was, usually what happens, we're talking about it, and we've actually said, call on the other line. We pick back up the conversation as soon as we get to that same point again. like clockwork, just like this cuts off, boom, it's fuzzy, static, you can't hear them. It's like they don't want us to talk about certain things, and I don't know who's responsible for that one. It could be a couple different things. Who knows? But if there is a pattern there, that you can see just by listening to the show.
Yeah, but it's only with certain guests that come on. And then, we can talk about whatever, and we can go a week or 2 or 3 without any problems, and then it happens.
It does. It's spooky. You imagine if that happened and your computer and Skype all going out at the same time? My goodness, that'd be enough to give you gray hair.
Oh, yeah. And I'm just looking at, people, you need to check out our website. On December 12th, we have Barbara DeLong on. Do you know who she is?
I do. I can't play. Wasn't she on before?
No, she's never been on. She has her own talk show on Blog Talk. She's been around for a long time. We're going to be talking, actually, she'll be on the 12th from 7 to 8:30. We're going to be talking about UFOs with her.
I have heard of her. I just couldn't place where, but I think you just answered the question there. And, we got, tomorrow's Joe Taylor, isn't it?
Tomorrow is the 10th, and we have Joe Taylor on from 7 o'clock to maybe 9:30, 10-ish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I believe Wednesday we have Darren Dykehouse, I think his name is. Yeah. Paranormal investigator, I believe.
Yep, he's going to be on. So we have all this stuff. And also looking in here, I also have a little thing about the latest hot news. I update it once a week. And it says a chunk of ice more than twice the size of New York could break off from Antarctica at any moment. There's 2 large cracks in the shelf been inching closer and closer of opening up in the last few years, and now they're finally intersected each other. This is about 660 miles wide and almost 500 feet thick of ice. It's ready to be released into the ocean.
Where it'll eventually, island.
Yeah, and where it'll eventually melt. So that will also raise the world's sea levels a tiny bit.
Well, it would do a lot. It's going to do something. That's like a little island that's going to disappear, and that is mass volume, which takes up other mass volume displacement. So, yeah, there's going to be felt somewhere for sure.
Yeah, but don't forget, Earth changes aren't going on. It's normal. Actually, Antarctica is freezing up. It's not thawing out. Now, you want to buy the San Francisco Bridge from me for $14,950?
You know what amazes me? You can look at a time-lapse video of either pole, really, but especially Antarctica, over the last 10, 15, 20 years, and you'd be amazed how much the white goes to brown.
Yeah,
so that tells you something.
Yeah, and it's finding now it's habitable spots on Antarctica which weren't there. I mean, in other words, there's places without ice and the temperature is warming up where a person could even survive. Interesting, isn't it? Now, again, if you want to be a guest on my show, Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark, you can get a hold of us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com. That's nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com. Now, if you want to donate $1 or $2 to help pay for our bandwidth, which with all the listeners, it's growing high. Yes, we are on radio stations, but we don't make any money off of them. They carry the show, and, people listen. We don't charge for the archives because I think radio should be free. So, unlike some shows, if you want to listen to the past shows, you got to pay for it. Or you got to buy some membership or some crap like that. That's not going to happen on my show. But if you want to donate $1 or $2, you can go to the website at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com and hit the donation. It takes you to PayPal. It's a secure way. Donate $1 or $2 to help pay for our bandwidth. Because, let's face it, we went from a 2-hour show, a 3-hour, and now we're 4 hours. And no, I'm not going to go to a 6-hour show. Maybe if I was 30 years old again, I would consider something as dumb as that. But 4 hours is a long time to sit behind a microphone.
Yeah, I think 4 hours is cool. We got 2 guests, a couple of weekly reports, top of the hour news, little 3-minute newscast from me, and then you've got your crazy news, and we do all kind of good stuff.
Yeah, where else can you find it? But, well, guess what? Night Dreams Talk Radio. Until tomorrow, everybody, I want you to have a great one. And again, the website, www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. James, have a good evening. Eat some sugar frosted